So this is the entrance to the property. Basically, if I do it correctly, I think I'm gonna have to buy about 40 feet of footage this way, going all the way down to the road, which isn't terribly far. George's house is right over there, but then that 40 strip would end right about that juniper tree, and it would go all the way across and over onto the other side of the pond back in that tree line. And so this pond would be one of the first things you see as you come onto the property. And it's all pretty grown up right now, but it used to be a field. So I have no idea who that dog is, but he's been following me around all day. And so following towards those juniper trees, this path goes all the way down. This is kind of like the rough and flats. The ground's a little swampy in certain spots, but I think with a little gravel, it should be all right. That leads to Johnny's property, which is right next. He used to own all this land. Lost it in a nasty divorce. I just met him. He's super nice. Anyways, so this little thing leads up to the top of the first hill. Now these two leaning juniper trees, I believe, basically mark the boundary for what it would be if I bought 8 acres. But I think I'm gonna have to buy 10, which I'm okay with because that's only another $3 grand. So I could basically pay like $310 a month for 3 years and have the entire thing paid off. There's a bunch of spots like this where it's just gotten soupy because it's low, but you can fill that in pretty easy. But this right here is the top of hill number 1, which would probably be where the first cabin would go. Well, the little shack would probably be way that direction. But if I built like a decent sized house, it'd probably be on the top of this hill. So that's one of the 4-wheeler trails that run. There's tons of them all over this property, but that leads back into that huge acreage trust, which they technically don't want anybody on, but they got all kinds of walking trails back there, and they never come out. So I'll probably fence it in to keep 4-wheelers from coming through the property. But other than that, I don't mind walking around in those woods. This is the top of the bluff. Johnny's property, no idea. I think that's Johnny's as well on the other side of that tree line. But I imagine that first house being somewhere right in here, sitting right on top of that hill. And then I'm thinking, to preserve the view, maybe cut out and do a retaining wall and have everybody park down there and then just have a footpath. So that way, the only gravel you'll see is that little hill right there. And then everybody parks down in here and preserves the view. I don't know, it might be impractical, but it'd be nice. There's another closer view of where I think the big cabin would need to go. Sort of tucked right back in here before it starts to slope off, kind of hidden in the trees. Because that means that you'll have a nice, pretty view that will really honestly never be altered. But down here, this is the big gulch. Now, I'm gonna have to probably put a little bridge on it. So hill number 2 is right here. And see, this is the only thing I'm a little bit worried about, is that a lot of the hills are made out of this crushed shale. But I think I'll be able to dig around it and probably put some gravel in to save it. But this is where me and Joel, George's son, used to wreck on 4-wheelers all the time, down here in this little gully. But that's hill 2 right there. And it goes all the way to the other side, and that's where the property line would end. Basically, it looks like I'm gonna have to buy 10 acres, but I'm okay with that. I'm acutely aware of how out of shape I am, because this is not a big hill. But I think what I'd probably do is carve out that natural creek run, because this is the biggest rain we've had the last week in over 100 years, and it's still fine. Like, it's not flooded over at all. So I'd probably cut a channel and put a smaller bridge over it. But then this entire hillside to be cleared with fruit trees on it. So if I can quickly jog up to the top. I don't know how well you can see that, but that entire hill stretching all the way down to the bottom, as best I can tell, is in the property line.